Lower your center of gravity. Look at how professional players receive the serve. They all stand like this. This is how they loop the ball. What they're really doing is pressing the center of gravity. So their stroke moves more forward into the ball. If you stand too high, your contact point ends up here, and your force is applied here. The second issue is that the movement is too big. This movement is not defensive. It's a punching motion. So this kind of defensive action is naturally a small movement, a compact structure. Lower the center of gravity more. That's better. Lower it a bit more. Right. Look how uncomfortable this incoming ball is. It's low, flat, and fast. So should you contact it at the peak, on the rise, or early on the drop? On the rise. It's easier to defend. The peak can also work. It depends on individual habits, but personally, against a high arcing loop, I will always defend on the rise. Yes, earlier. Be more proactive. Right, earlier. This timing is good. Very comfortable. Another point is when you take the ball this early, how much recovery time do you give your opponent? Not much. It also creates defensive pressure. If you can successfully defend on the rise, you also put pressure on their next shot. Yes, this one is good. Earlier. Good, very good. This is the rising phase of the ball. Let's defend to balls on the forehand. Once you find the rising phase, you're doing it right. Earlier. You need to defend actively to find the rising phase. Yes, earlier. Once the arc reaches this point, you've already pressed the trajectory down. After the ball comes to you, if your hand stays in front of your body, the arc can be controlled. If it's always to the side or behind your body, you'll definitely get jammed. Actively look for the contact point, don't just react. Instead of freezing here, first, rely on lowering your center of gravity. Second key point is finding the peak of the ball. So what is the third issue? The backswing after the incoming ball. Many players' backswing structure has some common misunderstandings. The racket angle and height are problematic. Let's take the forehand as an example. The racket angle is like this. This kind of action easily sends the ball long. So as long as it's a loop, the racket angle must be closed a bit. If the spin is very strong, you need to close it even more. There's no absolute angle. It depends on the incoming ball. If you block it long, then what should you do? First, adjust the racket angle. So that the ball contacts your racket with a forward and downward trajectory. If you open the racket, the trajectory goes upward. The ball has spin, so you must press it down yourself. You need to control the spin and neutralize it. The second point is, your hand must be held high. Everyone look, if your hand is here, the ball will slip through. If your hand is down here, look, I place my hand here. The ball will definitely slip through. This happens most easily on the forehand side. The backhand is a bit better, especially when the rhythm suddenly changes. It's very easy to miss the defensive height. Alright, loop one a bit higher. I'll lift my hand and show you. We can loop a few high balls, then a few slightly lower ones. Lift it up, good. Lift it for the lower one. The moment I see him start the stroke, I immediately prepare my backswing. The fourth point is about defense. We have two main approaches. When you defend, do you mainly block passively or hit, like a quick counter? First, what does block mean? Okay, this is blocking. Second, what does hitting mean? It looks like this after the ball comes. This is hitting. Yes, quick counter. It's reverse brushing. We choose the method based on our level and adjust accordingly. First, I'll talk about blocking. The wrist must be locked. The forearm leads the movement. Apply force forward and downward. Close the racket angle. After the ball comes, I apply a subtle, hidden force, like pushing the ball. Don't give the ball too much space on the racket. Don't actively create extra force. After the ball hits the racket, I send it out. And when sending it out, control the power. For example, if I extend my arm too much, like this, it easily goes long. So how do you control it? I'll teach you a very good method. After you block the ball, your shoulder should feel still. The upper arm stays still. The forearm moves forward and downward, not upward. What's the prerequisite? It must be a loop. If it's a fake loop, you'll definitely hit the net, as long as it has spin, with this racket angle. It will be pressed down immediately. The second method is hitting. The motion doesn't go forward. It goes inward toward the body. You hit by closing the arm in. If you hit like this, using a forehand drive motion, the ball easily goes long. Once the motion opens up, it will definitely go out. When the arm is kept in, it naturally pulls toward the body. The motion goes inward. If the motion opens up, it's very easy to lose control. The elbow determines whether your structure is stable. So the pivot must be here. The shoulder is extremely important. Look, my shoulder is locked. If you can't control your wrist, elbow, and shoulder, your hitting will definitely be unstable. If the wrist loosens, the racket face wobbles. If the elbow loosens, the structure collapses. Yes, still on the rising phase. Right, second is the elbow. Third is the shoulder. My shoulder is tight and fixed, so all 3 points must be fixed. Then just bring the forearm in. Against high arcing loops, the forearm shouldn't go too far forward. Pull it inward toward the body. Make sure you hold it firmly.